Hello, viewers. Today I want to talk about the Zimbabwean dilemma, which is portrayed by the institution of chieftaincy. In our constitution, chieftaincy is portrayed as custodians of African culture. One wonders whether the writers of this constitution or our leaders really do understand what what African culture really means and what it is all about. Let us look at the installation of the chief. Culturally, and according to African culture, the chief is supposed to be installed by the spirit mediums, who also have got the power to remove him if he does not comply with the norms and values of the community during the course of his ruling. But instead, these days, the chief is installed by the Minister of Local Government. And during the installation, the chief is given a colonial gown, a colonial hat, and a colonial chain, which is supposed to symbolize the power of his office. As if that is not enough, the chief is also supposed to join the ruling party. The ruling party, which in both content and outlook symbolizes Western values. And when he joins the ruling party, his people are supposed to follow suit. Apart from that, the ruling party introduces foreign institutions amongst the chief's community. Institutions such as the CEL, the VIDCO, the WADCO, what have you and what have you. And the people are supposed to participate in the Western form of parliamentary elections. They vote for the president. They're supposed to vote for parliamentarians and councillors. This is quite foreign to the communities which are supposed to preserve African culture. Their system of government constitutes the chief and his dare. And the dare comprises of seasoned elders, elders who are well versed with the norms and values of the community. These are not imbeciles. But now these communities are expected to choose a parliamentarian who is supposed to represent them in the institution of parliament, which they don't understand at all. So they vote for that parliamentarian not because he can represent them, but because he can represent their interest, but because he belongs to the party that is being led by the president, by the president's party. And the president is the one who gives them inputs, agricultural inputs. He's the one who gives them food handouts in times of drought. So anybody who can shout the loudest party slogans is the one who is voted as a parliamentarian. He may be an imbecile. He may be a councillor. So in comparison, one can say that the colonial government actually did quite a lot to make the institution of chieftaincy a custodian of African culture. Because the colonial government ran a dual system in what is termed the indirect system of government. They realized that their system, their political system, their political party system was not within the culture of the Africans. So they allowed Africans to carry on their type of governance on their own, as long as they paid allegiance to the colonial government. And they concentrated on their party politics in the urban areas. The chief was only supposed to be controlled, and that control was exercised through the native commissioner. But the control was to make sure that the chief does not rebel against the colonial government, that he remained loyal. But he could do whatever he wanted to do culturally. So you see, the sum total of all that is that since 1980, the government has been ruling a population of confused people. You see, instead of the rural people bringing in culture to the urban people, the urban people are now taking Western culture to the rural people. And the urban people don't even fully understand that Western culture. So they take it to people who are already confused in the rural area. You can imagine the kind of confusion. The sum total of that means that we have no direction. The government has no direction. There's no ideology through which it can unite the people. The government is purposeless. They have no purpose to which they can rally around the people, to which they can unite the people. Unless we come out with an ideology, unless we actually understand what our culture is all about, then we remain directionless. We remain cultureless. And people without culture are just as good as dead. If you look at Zimbabwe today, It is all full of Western values. In the urban areas, you would think you are in Britain. The rural areas is in shambles. There is no direction whatsoever. There is no ideology. And unless we formulate an ideology, unless we formulate, we preserve our own culture, we are not getting anywhere. Here I stand. Again, this is the voice in the wilderness, but the voice of true revolution. I see you in my next video. Thank you.